Boy, did we need this game. Steelrising is a brand new Souls-like action RPG that is coming out September the 8th, and today we're going to be breaking this down and reviewing you guys and telling you guys if it's worth you spending your time and money. Now, this is a no BS review, and being a no BS review, we actually give you the score we give the game before we do the review. This game got an 80 out of 100. If you want to find out why we gave it 80 and how we got to that number, well, stay tuned and let's dive in and talk about Steelrising. As you guys know, one of the most popular genres currently right now in games are Souls-like games, and we're going to be getting a ton of them. And sometimes we get some good ones, sometimes we get some bad ones, and in this case, we actually got a really good one. Of course, it does have its flaws, which we'll talk a little bit in the review, but let's talk about the positive stuff that we actually like. So story, we actually like the story. It's a little bit different, told in a different way. Basically, the story falls around Aegis, which is an autonomous, theoretically a robot, and there are multiple robots within the world because there are two different types of parties fighting each other. There is the Queen, which Aegis is part of the Queen, and she's her bodyguard and protects her. And then there's also the King, who has other robots as well, and these robots are there to defend and to deter anybody from dethroning him. Now, this is where Aegis plays her role. She's going to go into this world, destroy and kill all these massive robots, whether it be little mobs, and even big bosses, to be able to not only protect the Queen, but also get rid of the oppression that the King has. The storytelling in this game is actually pretty solid. You're able to follow it and play quite along, and it actually ties in perfectly with what you're playing and also the environment. And one thing we really enjoyed about the story is that it actually makes sense the way it's being told. It provides a very unique story and also a very unique atmosphere when you're playing the game. Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay because it's what you guys want to know. So the gameplay, guys, on this game is very fluid and very fast paced as well. One thing I want to point out though, it might be a little bit weird looking at the gameplay while also playing it for the very first time. It's going to feel kind of a little bit muddy, a little bit Yankee, and this will make perfect sense on why it feels this way and why it looks this way when you understand the story of the game. Remember, she is a dancer who turned into a robot, and I believe that this is something the developers actually wanted to simulate when you're playing the game. They wanted to make you feel that you are not only fast and fluid and agile, but you are also a robot, so you can't really move like a human. You actually are going to be moving like an automaton, and I thought that was a very cool mechanic, whether they did it on purpose or that's the way it turned out. But giving you the sensation and giving you guys the feel of you feeling like you're actually moving like a robot, and the way it looks off the screen, it looks a little bit Yankee and muddy. It makes perfect sense once you understand the story and why you move the certain way you do. So one other interesting thing we also liked about the gameplay was the way the stamina is being handled. So you have a stamina bar, and when the stamina bar gets completely depleted, you have a chance to actually refresh the stamina bar. Now, you're going to be able to refresh the stamina bar to get a little bit more stamina back and continue fighting, but if you use this ability too often, you could automatically get frozen in place and be very little bit vulnerable. I like the fact the way they balance this because it is a high risk, high reward type of situation, but it does give it a very different way of playing. Another thing that we liked that kind of got introduced into Elden Ring, not very Souls-like, and that is the jumping ability. We love the fact that this game does provide a lot of verticality, a lot of jumping aspects, and not only does that make the combat a lot funner because you're able to do jump attacks and stuff like that, but it gives you a better feel for the game when you're not only having to look down below, but you're also having to look high ground. And a little bit later in the game, you're going to also unlock a grapple hook, allowing you guys to move around the map very fluidly and very fast. The game also features a very extensive array of weapon types that you're able to use and giving you a different set of playstyles, whether you want to go ahead and parry, whether you don't want to parry and just want to be ultra aggressive, or whether you want to play from a distance and use some kind of shooting projectile. It also gives you the advantage of being able to select 4 different classes, which give you a different playstyle, and it also gives you the ability to play with different elemental types such as fire, freeze, and electricity. In addition to that, it does give you an extensive customization, not in character wise per se, because you only have a few skins that you're able to select and a few hairstyles, but it gives you a lot of customization when it comes to your character and builds through the module system, that you're not only able to add modules, but you're also able to upgrade the module slots to get better modules as you play. This combined with the grenades and the essence and the capsules you're able to use in the game, it gives you a wide variety of different playstyles, whether you want to be tanky, agile, or you just want to be a high DPS type of dealer. It does give you that quite extensively. I would say the total playtime on the game is between 15 to to 20 hours. Now, that does not include you having to go back to the areas and find the secret areas that you're only able to unlock when you get specific tools. So there is a ton of replayability in the game, and also the ability of having different playstyles also gives you that replayability as long as you have the right classes and the right modules equipped, or you've actually discovered the secret hidden areas where these modules and items are located. All right, so let's talk about why this game didn't get an 85 out of 100, right? So the things that kind of drew us back a little bit was the fact that they're lip syncing when the story is being told. Since this game is a little bit story driven, is the fact that there is a lot of lip syncing miscues. So, you know, the character of the modules were actually speaking and it doesn't match the audio. I think if the developer had just a little bit more money or a little bit more funding for this game, it would have been very solid. Another thing that we noticed, I have a very high NPC. We did notice there was a little bit of fidelity issues sometimes. I think this could actually be fixed via a patch, or if there's going to be a game patch. We weren't able to test this on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, but from a PC standpoint, we did have a little bit of kind of fidelity issues when it came to the game. Another thing that I quite didn't understand that the developers, I would say, wasted time in or decided to go that route was giving the ability of being able to add an accessibility mode. This mode, what it basically does, it just allows you guys to turn everything off that makes the game difficult. For example, reduce the cooldown of your stamina, determine how much health you actually lose, determine if you lose anima when you actually die. I think if you're making a Souls-like game, I think you're doing a disjustice to the Souls-like genre to make the game easier, because the whole point of playing a Souls game is for the game to actually be difficult as opposed to applying an easy mode. As you guys know, in Elden Ring, everybody wanted an easy mode. The developers didn't provide us with an easy mode. They actually just told us, you don't get good, which is the whole purpose of having to play a Souls-like game. I think in a time where we're all trying to find the next Elden Ring, this is a perfect game that fits in perfectly within the wheelhouse till we actually get either a DLC for Elden Ring or some sort of other game that comes out with the same mechanics. Steelrising is definitely a very solid game, and I would highly recommend you guys check it out. Now, if you guys are still on the fence about the game, do consider clicking our Amazon affiliate link down below to purchase the game as a physical copy. It actually might be on sale, and you might be able to get it for a little bit less than the normal digital price. So definitely go ahead and check it out. The link is down below. It is worth your time. You will be able to get at least 20 to 30 hours out of the game, which should be pretty fair for the price point that the game actually has, which is $50. Now, if you guys are picking up the game, I highly recommend you guys check out this video that's popping up right now on the screen, telling you guys how to level up and what are the 10 things you need to know before playing the game. If you guys are enjoying our content here on the channel, guys, do me a huge favor, guys, drop a comment, drop a like, but most importantly, subscribe to the channel, turn on all your notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live. In addition to that, guys, if you want to show just a little bit more love and support, do consider becoming part of the Bolt Nation. It does help us out a lot by clicking the join button down below, or smash us with a nice fat thank you by hitting that thank you button as well. We definitely wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, so thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.